So the first thing we have to do is calculate your personal year number. And this is done by taking your birthday. Let's say your birthday is November 27. And we want your personal year number for the year 2020. So it doesn't matter what year you were born. We just need to find out your number for the year of 2020. So what we do is we add all these numbers together. So that's 11 plus 27 is 30, what is it, 38. 38 plus 2020 is 2058. Oops, 2058. So 2058. We add all those numbers together. So 2 plus 0 plus 5, 7, 15. We come up with 15. So we add those numbers together and we get 6. So, whoops, sorry about the camera. Your personal year number for the year of 2020 is 6. Personal. This is your personal number. Now, the year of 2020 itself is a 4 because you add all those together and it comes up with 4. So, the universal year number is 4. So just for everybody who calculates their personal year number, it will be a number 1 through 9. They will also be dealing with the 4 energy. 4 is stability, structure, hard work, commitment, dedication, maybe even stubbornness, achievement, but most of all, stability. And we'll get into that a little bit more when we get into the numbers. But stability, achievement are the structure. These are the energies you're going to be dealing with no matter who you are, and whatever your year number is, 1 through 9, will be in what area you can apply to your stability, structure, and achievement. And it's also the strengths that you'll have to work with while achieving during the year of 2020. So is your personal year number the 6? The 6 means structure, function, and order. And we're in the universal year of the 4, which is stability. Now the 6 is, I'm going to just visually represent the 6 for you, okay? In a number of ways. The 6 is this. The 6 is this. The 6. Nope, 6, not that. 6 is this. Which I will make for you geometrically down here. But I'm just trying to give you a see as above, so below. Pyramid, the balanced order of the pyramid. All the shapes that can be created within the hexagon. Beehives are made in the shape of hexagons. I'm kind of failing the bees at this point, but you understand what I mean. It's this idea of order, structure, it's success. In the tarot, it's a little success. It's like you've made it past the 5, which is the regeneration stage, and now things are really ticking along. You have a certain level of achievement. You have valor. You have maybe attained some wealth. You have it's what I'm trying to say is that it's things are moving forward now. You're having success. Things are going well. This is a year of things going well in a universal energy of stability. And that bodes very well for you to prosper. I guess that's what it is you focus on your structure, things that are working, having things in order and progressing. Enjoy this year. This is a year that you get to enjoy. And because we're doing this sacred geometry flavored reading here, or how do you say, I don't know, not reading, explanation of the year energy and why the numerology is what it is. I'm just going to make for you a hexagon out of the geometry, just so you can see it in action. Now, what's kind of crazy about this, and it would take me far too long to do, is to show you how this is actually created using the sixes, because you know what I'll do, I'll paste in a picture and show you how you would get to the six using actual using six circles to get to this. But what you'd have to do is you have to start with the circles I'm drawing, and you have to build like the flower of life and see the six circles from within it. I know, I'm probably not making sense to you, but take my word for it. It's time consuming to get there, so I'm taking some shortcuts based on the points here, where there would be circles for everything I'm talking about. There would be six circles that creates this structure if we're within the flower of life. Oops. So with the six, what you have is a ton of symmetry. To make this shape, we have the two equal parts on either side, absolute symmetry, see? Equal circles, and then an equal circle, a circle equal to those in the center that is exactly the radius, exactly the radius, and fits perfectly in here, and the hexagon fits perfectly in there. Everything is symmetry. There's exactly half the distance here, half the distance here, and you can make all of the just so much balanced geometry inside the six. Just basically connecting all the points, you end up with you see how, as we continue, you go back and look at the 1 through 4, you see how simple the geometry is. And once you get to the 5 and above, how complex the geometry is. It's like, in fact, in sacred geometry, the numbers don't even start, I think, until number 4. The 1, 2, and 3 are actually just creation energies. Numbers really start at 4, because then you can start to really make a lot of geometry. And so you see how things are getting more and more complex. But at the 6, they're not chaotic like at the 5. The 5, you have to do a lot of gymnastics to get to the pentagon, but a lot can be created from the pentagon. At the 6, there's a lot of balance, there's a lot of symmetry, there's a lot of order, there's a lot of function. You can do a lot of really interesting and balanced things with the 6 energy, and that's where you are this year. Fortunately, you are in this place of being able to, you're just having a good time, okay? And so then your challenge through the year will be to create as much as you can and really blossom and create this wonderful, enjoy this prosperous time of really having things figured out, of experiencing your valor and your glory and your success, but preparing, because the next number to follow for you would be the 7. And at the 7, that is when you need to be willing to burst it all apart again. If you're starting to get the rhythm of this, it goes from, chaos to order, chaos to order, chaos to order. That's how the numbers work. And so after you experience this stability, this time of really functioning well this year, but okay, now let's just stop there for a moment. You're functioning well and you have order, but you understand that if you're not quite at a place where you're feeling that, it could be that you're stuck in a phase where you haven't figured out what you're making yet. Because if you're coming off of the 5, you're coming off of the energy of making something new, and it's like birthing something. And when you're freshly creating something, you're not exactly sure how that's going to turn out. So now is the time to look back on all the things that you did last year and realize that this is the new normal. Okay, you have the new normal and it's working. The new normal is working for you. So what is the new normal? Make a system for this, because it's going to feel crazy. I mean, look at all this going on in here. And there's so much more. We could line this up in every possible direction. We can make everything out of this. We can make so much out of this. And it can feel chaotic if you just glance at it and you're like, oh God, what's happening? So figure out what is your new normal. Make it work for you really well, because in the year to come, you're going to have to make more choices that are going to take this structure apart, and it's going to feel more chaotic. So really get down. What have you made? What is this system? What is working? Find the order. And you're supported by the universal year number, which is stability. So you're going to have the breathing space to be able to do this without a whole bunch of chaos being thrown at you. You're in a supportive environment to figure out your new normal and make it work. Make it work really well, so that when it comes time for the 7 to blow this apart, and so that you can have more growth, you have mastered the lessons of this year. You've mastered all of the things that you've created, and you become expert at it. And you're going to enjoy a little bit of recognition for what you've created as well. So enjoy that. If your personal year number is a 7, I want you to sit down, relax, close your eyes, clear your mind, and feel the things that you feel, and let your spirit be your guide, because that is what the 7 year is all about. The 7 is everything to do with spirituality, enchantment. It's about things that exist and don't exist. It's about intuition. 7 in sacred geometry is to create a shape called a heptagon, which cannot be made through geometry. You've watched all the other numbers be able to be created with a compass and a straight edge. These are the geometer's tools. Everything in geometry can be made using circles and lines. All creation can be reduced to its molecular or atomic structure using circles and lines. The only thing that cannot be done that way is the 7. The 7 does not allow itself to fall within the construct of circles and lines. It can't be done. Nobody throughout all of time has ever made a 7-sided object which is perfect. It can't be done using tools like these. It can only be approximated, and of course I'll approximate it using the tools, but there's no measurement that gets you there exactly. And because of this quality of the 7, it is a number of religion. It is the number in music. You've got this 7 is a sacred holy number. You've probably encountered that if you're in religious practices. There's 7 days of the week. there are 7 notes in the musical scale. And this is because the 7 is, it has this ineffable, it has this quality to it where it creates magic, it creates music, but it can't be quantified. And that's why, let me finish this here. Okay. Okay, you know what, since I can't make it, I'm just going to approximate it to show you what the heptagon looks like, and then we'll move on to some more of the philosophy of it. I'm approximating, since even using the tools, it comes to an approximation, but okay, because I can't help myself. Gotta do something sort of accurate. Yeah, okay, so a heptagon is something like this. I mean, mine is super wonky, but even if I use the most precise measurements of these things, I could never attain perfect symmetry of equidistance between all these lines and have it fit within proper geometric circle like all the other shapes can. It can't be done. It just can't be done. It doesn't, the number 7 does not adhere to the rules of math. And that's why, again, it's a sacred number. So in order to explain your experience in a 7-year, if you're a 7-year person, if that's your personal year number, I just kind of got these visual aids for you, because I really feel like you have to feel what it's like to be in this number. And so I got a couple of cards out that I think really help communicate what this year will be for you. And one of these is my cards of time, which the words they put on it is determining the circumstances. Exactly. Keep that in mind for a minute. Here we've got the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups representing all of the possible options that you have available to you and that you can choose from, all floating over the sea of emotion. And this guy, I love this guy. I think he really shows what's up, right? Okay, we've got him this way. It kind of looks okay, lots of choices, but here, dazzled, overwhelmed with choices, right? And that's kind of the energy of this 7, is that you came from the 6 where you had order and stability. You've really mastered something. You really, you were having success. You had a certain amount of abundance, stability, everything was working well, things are ticking along. And then this year, suddenly there's something not satisfying about that. I mean, think about what it's like to, reach your goal, whatever that might be. Let's just say you're at work and you wanted to reach the goal of a certain promotion, and then you get the promotion. And then you go to another day to work and another day to work. It's like at a certain point, that feeling of success, it's not quite enough. Then you have to realize that achieving the thing isn't going to bring you to your ultimate fulfillment. What you have to infuse into that achievement is this spirituality. It's your heart and soul. You have to become something more within yourself, no matter what it is. It's in your relationship At a certain point, the relationship is not going to be the end goal. At a certain point, the relationship has to be your own personal development within that partnership, whether it be a friendship or a love relationship. It's going to have to be this spiritual evolution within you that will bring you ultimate happiness, because the material world can only take you so far, as we see with the 7. The material world can only get you up to the 6. At the 7, it just loses its grip. Only thing that the 7 can be dealt with is in the realm of spirituality and personal growth and your feelings inside you and your intuition and these kind of things, okay? And then back to the 8, then we get back into what's possible with geometry. But at the 7, you're kind of free floating. It has to come from within you. This guy is blinded by his options. The only way he's going to make the right choice is by knowing what feels good for him and making a choice for his own best self, or by being inspired by the light to make the clearest choice, asking a higher power for help making this decision. So that's what this year is about for you. This year is about for you finding your path through your inner growth, through your spirituality, through the enchantment of being alive. And what's wonderful about that is that you don't have to do it amidst chaos, because the universal number for this year is a 4, which is stability. So it's not like all the energy surrounding you are totally crazy and you're having to find your way through that, although that can be fun too. But the general atmosphere that you're finding yourself in this year is a supportive, quiet, stable, things just moving along. And while that's happening for you, and you know you've already established the new normal for yourself, you're ticking along through what you've already created and having some success at that, it's like you're given this grace period during which you can go inside yourself and really find out the things that are meaningful to you. Because that's what's important. That's your challenge for this year, because next year you'll be at the 8, and the 8 will ask you to unify stability in your spiritual life and in your material life. So this year, take a deep dive, start meditating, start learning about what really makes your soul sing, get your self-esteem in order, do things that make you feel alive and feel healthy, and what really makes your life meaningful to you. Why are you here? You don't have to answer the question, but you can feel it. You can feel some sense of satisfaction in the you that you create. That's really what you're trying to get to, is feeling satisfied just in the you that is alive every day. What makes you feel satisfied about being alive? What makes you feel happy that you of all creations were brought into the world and that you get to be alive this year? What things make you feel that way? When you wake up in the morning, what things put a smile on your face? And can you spend more time doing those things and infusing that energy into your day? No matter what else is on the schedule, you bring you to the table, not just your duty to get the things done. You bring your own self into it and feel whole within whatever it is you're doing. That's the challenge of the 7, is to make your choices amongst all possibilities within your existence. Which choices will you make that make yourself feel fulfilled? To fill your own cups of love, to fill to satiate your emotions and to satiate your feeling of satisfaction in your own life. If you are at an 8 year, you have leveled up. Okay, the 8 is a pretty exciting number. I'm going to try to keep it brief, because as you see, as we progress up from numbers 1 through 9, the concepts behind the number are getting more and more complex. And so I'm going to try to just keep it as simple as I can and explain what it means to you. But I feel like I want you to really understand what it means and not just take the most basic information out of this explanation, but really get something out of it. So the universal year number is 4, which is stability. And the reason for stability is because in geometry, when you get the 4, you get to a square. And the square is a very stable number. Well, when you get to an 8, you've got a double square. You've got twice as much stability. But what you have is, now once you've reached, which at the 4, you're kind of at a basic level of stability. At the 8, you've attained some certain level of spiritual development that enables you to take your basic level of stability, but add to it your level of enlightenment, all that you've learned, your life's lessons, your maturity. You add to, let's just say this is just survival. What you've added to survival, we'll call this just survival, okay? What you've added to survival is all the life lessons you've learned getting there. You see? So you become the 8-pointed star. Now, to that end, the 8-pointed star is, oh gosh, how can we start with this? Okay, we have Aristotle's elements, for example. We have earth, air, fire, water. There's so much in creation and in philosophy and in history and even in just everyday objects that use the 8 that you don't even realize where it comes from. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a few examples of 8 and how this is a complex yet stable but creative number, because it marries stable constructs together to create this wonderful tapestry that's so useful, and that's you in this year. So just kind of relax and play with these things that I'll show you and try to feel that energy within inside you as I explain it. Okay, so we've got Aristotle's elements, which earth, air, fire, and water, and when we combine them with hot, cold, dry, and wet, we've pretty much got everything that you experience in our material, in our tangible experience as an organism, right? We got earth, air, fire, water. That's all the elements in creation, plus the 5th element, which is something like the thing that all those things together make, that sort of unnameable thing that is life. And then hot, cold, dry, and wet are the qualities of the material that is made from earth, air, fire, and water. We have a creation myth with the number 8, and it's an Egyptian creation myth, and it goes something like this. I am 1, so let's just call this dot 1, that transforms into 2. Okay? I am 2, that transforms into 4. I am 4, that transforms into 8. So you're seeing we're doubling every time, right? From 1 to 2, from 2 to 4, from 4 to 8. And then after this, I am 1 again. That's how the Egyptian creation myth goes. That's their philosophy, that you double 1 to 2, you double 2 to 4, you double 4 to 8, and after that, you're whole. And the reason that you're whole is because you've achieved this double stability. You've achieved this double stability. You see? You're whole. This is also in different philosophies referred to, like a spider, for example, is in different philosophies. The weaver of the cosmic web, the 8 arms, represent this construct, and this all of the experience of humans is woven in the cosmic web by the 8-legged spider. And it's not because the spider has 8 legs, it's because 8 is that number of balance, of harmony, of that things can be created within, without, with above, below. It's this unity, it's this harmony that makes everything work. And the fact that the creature we know as a spider has 8 legs has been made to associate with this concept. This concept did not come from the spider. The spider comes from the 8. You see what I mean? And here's a few things that I think you'll think is really, really interesting. I mean, they're just pedestrian things, but you've heard the expression behind the 8 ball, and that's because the 8 ball in pool, we play pool, it's a black ball. The 8 ball is black, and it's got the 8 in it. And if you have noticed, the balls that come before it, 1 through 7, are the solids. And the ones that come after it, 7 through 15, 8, 9 through 15, I don't know, whatever. The 7 after it. Don't make me do more math. 15, I guess. The ones after it are the stripes. So, the game of pool, billiards, actually was created, and lots of games are funny like this when you look into how they were created, but it was created based on being at this center place. The 8 ball is the one you don't want to shoot in the hole because, then you're out. But when you're behind the 8 ball, it means that you're stuck between these. There's 1 through 7 before it, and there's 1 through 7 after it, and it's this unsolvable problem. Because the 7, as we talked about, if you go back and look at the 7 is the only number that does not conform to geometry. It's an unknowable. It's ineffable. It's a concept that can only come from within, from a spiritual nature. It's a number that justifies all geometry as we understand it. So, all natural geometry, I should say, all, just standard geometry. And so at the center of these two 7s is this problem area, right? And then also the chessboard. The chessboard has something weird. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something like this, okay? You've got, oh golly, it's like squares within squares, and it has something to do with Earth and the moon phases. I can't remember how many squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 4 concentric squares. And then, of course, you've got you know what I mean. You know what a chessboard looks like. And they're shaded alternately. Right? All right, so you know what a chessboard or a checkerboard looks like. But this conforms to this structure. So we're going to imagine that this chessboard is sitting in the middle of the double square. Okay, we're going to make a double square on the outside of the chessboard. We're going to call this, I'm just going to put an X in it just to show this whole thing is our chessboard or our checkerboard. And then outside of it we have our double square, like the 8. And then we have the moon phases. Full moon, new moon, first quarter, last quarter. Then we've got waning gibbous, let's call it W, waxing gibbous, waxing crescent, and waning crescent. And then this, the chessboard itself it's the Earth square with the 28 moon, the 28 stations of the moon as its perimeter. This chessboard has the 28 stations of the moon as its perimeter. So when you're sitting there playing checkers with your kids or playing chess, you didn't know all this time that this game was created as a cosmic map that you're playing on. As related to the moon, you're actually playing a moon game. Isn't that fun? I thought you might like to know that. It doesn't have much to do with your fortune, but maybe it does because it shows how wonderfully complex the number 8 is and how balanced it is and how much it's associated with a high level of creation. So this year, as you're into into your 8th year, you are in another phase of renewal, but at a higher level. Okay, you've just gone inside yourself at the 7, and you've worked on your inner nature. You've worked on what makes you happy. You've worked on what makes your soul grow and thrive, because you've realized that everything that you've created is not the ultimate satisfaction in life. The getting is not the thing that is going to bring your soul, make your soul sing. And you had to go inside yourself and figure out, what is my soul and what makes it sing, and what can I be? And now you're at this wonderful place where you are creating again, but you're not just creating for survival in the material. You're creating to create survival and material with this wonderful layer of spirituality blended into it. It's so much more than it was. You think about the difference between yourself at 4 years old and and yourself at 40 years old, for example, or just any age that's considerably older, and how much more complex your world is, right? It's not just a matter of, when do I sleep, when do I eat, when do I have fun, when do I cry. It's, why do I eat? Why do I have fun? Why do I cry? And how can I make those work for me? All of the aspects of life that I know about now. How do I make this work into a beautiful creation that is me, that is my life, that is the world I live in? How do I create everything around me to work in harmony and generate something beautiful that is ultimately satisfying, that at the end of my long progress through life, I have created something meaningful and magical. It's not just, you haven't just created something, you've created something meaningful. This is survival. This is survival with meaning, you see? So that's your challenge this year, is now that you've figured out what it is that makes your soul sing, now it's the time to build that. Build the life that creates exactly what you want it to be. Exactly, it's taking all those action steps toward making your life be a beautiful tapestry of everything, that all that you knew before, all that you want it to be ahead. Yep, that's it. I think I made that clear. And you're doing this within a general, because this is the universal. This is the universal year number of 4, which is a year of stability, of achievement. So you're so supported. Like, the general atmosphere that you're progressing in is such a supportive environment. It's actually lending itself exactly into your energy. You take this supportive environment that you find yourself in, and just place color on top of it. Place yourself on top of it. Place your own flavor of everything on top of it, and integrate with what's around you, but with more, with more beauty, with more soul energy. It's not just about the getting and the spending. It's not just about the having. It's not just about the material things that you've laid in front of you, but it's the you that you have figured out how to fuse into it that makes the whole thing a unique creation. Your whole life is a unique creative work of art that is blended and balanced between just being a human alive and a person who's conscious that they're alive, and what that means to you. My good friend, you have reached the 9s. The 9 is a number of completion. If your year number is 9, you have culminated. You have reached the ultimate manifestation of what you have been trying to achieve in the physical world. And that is what you are doing this year, is finishing up, is completing, is actually getting to the end of your goal of creating the life that you want, that matches your outsides, match your insides. The world you've created around you, it's in balance with who you actually are. This is a really great place to be. And if you don't feel like you're quite at this place in your life right now, that is what this year is going to be becoming about. So your challenge will be to work on completing the things that need to be completed, both within yourself and the physical world. Probably because it's a 9, mostly within your the spiritual side of your nature, because you already completed what you needed to at the 4 in the physical balance of your life, and then again at the 6 you had some success with it. But now then you were forced to make a deep dive within yourself and really figure out, who you are and who you want to be in this world, and then matching that with what you're actually doing in this world. So that's what if your number is 9, that's what your mission is to achieve this level of balance and completion of the evolution of self, both in the material and in the spiritual realm, or the spiritual aspect of your life. And because the universal number for this year is the 4, which is stability, you are supported in that, because the atmosphere is not one that's going to bring you a lot of chaos. It's a year that is the energies are supportive of achievement and creating something that's strong and that works. Now, you can kind of ignore these cards for a minute because we're going to talk about that in a second. What I want to talk to you about is the number 9 for a minute. I know we're doing geometry, sacred geometry, but so we'll talk about this number 9 and how it shows up and how it always has been a number that is associated with completion, with the ending, with the horizon, with the most, okay? And then after 9, then you jump up into it's like a more cosmic elements of existence, like we'll talk about. That's what these cards are about. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 9 right now. You've heard of the cat having 9 lives. That's because a cat can die 9 times until his luck runs out, right? That's his completion. 9 is the most. You're going to run the whole 9 yards. You're on cloud 9. That's the highest joy you can attain. You're dressed to the 9s. That means you're dressed to the max, dressed to the most. You look your best. A stitch in time saves 9. You've heard that expression. That means that if you correct a mistake, small mistakes early on, you'll save yourself from having to do the whole thing over 9 stitches from now, because 9 is universally considered the number of completion. And this is something great. So people talk about, it was wonderful to the nth degree, right? That's an expression, something to the nth degree. 9th degree, that's what the nth degree is, in case you were wondering. I think that's it's one of those things that people would say, like, what is nth degree? Anyway, it's the 9th degree, the most degree. It was whatever it is to the nth degree, to the most degree, the 9th degree. It's an ending. Just a little bit more how it shows up in religion. Abraham was 99 when the Lord spoke to him. In Islam, there's 99 beautiful names of God, and the 100th name of God cannot be spoken. And so, as I was saying, 9 is that completion of the mundane world, of the world we live in, of the experience that we're having in this life. Between that and the transcendental, the infinite, powers beyond our control, that we also experience in life when we are guided by higher spiritual forces. So you see, at the 9 we've completed. What I have here is numbers 10 through 21 and 0 of the major arcana in the tarot. And so at 9 we had completion. And I'll show you the completion cards in the tarot. You've got the Hermit. He's major arcana, but you see he's alone. All these cards of completion, all the 9s, you've got a person alone. You see? One person having a completion of an experience. So the Hermit is taking a deep dive and looking for answers within himself. He has become a complete person in himself, and he looks to himself and his own inner guidance for knowledge. The Knight of Wands is the completion of a battle, or I'd say in this context it's a battle, and he's war weary, and he's holding on to the end, That's what this person does. This person holds on to the end, and he's got all of his wands, and he's still passionate about his cause. He has made it all the way to the end of this Nine of Wands. Now, the Ten of Wands is the card after that, and you should see a guy carrying all his wands on his back. He's bearing the burden of the completion, but this is the end of the battle, and he's going to get up, and he's going to put those wands on his back and finish the journey. The Nine of Cups, he's reached maximum fulfillment emotionally, and he's got some to share, and he's a gregarious innkeeper with cups to go around. And or you can read it as he has one cup that he loves, and he's still going to try all the rest of them. He's got everything. He has completed his satisfaction. Oh, not this one. At the Nine of Swords, the most stressed you can be, just overwhelmed by your thoughts. There's no more level of stress than this. This is keeping you up nights. And the next card after that is Ten of Swords, which means it's over. I mean, this is the most worry you can get before it's just over, and you get to start over again. You get to start fresh. So the 10 is really a rebirth, even though the death card at the 10 looks like a death. What it is a rebirth, because this is over. This is the most stress you can take. And I love this one. I think the Nine of Pentacles really, the more of any of these other cards, shows the completion, the satisfaction, the having of it all, absolute maximum abundance in all things that you can see, smell, taste, touch, hear, feel, all those things. So the nines is a completion. But after the completion, which is what you are working to attain this year, you will be you have to complete it. You don't have to complete it, but your challenge is to complete it, because after that, then you're dealing with the transcendental. You're dealing with the Wheel of Fortunes. Okay, now look at the tone of the cards that are after the 9. You've got fortune, destiny, the concept of justice being meted out upon you, and you having to look at yourself in the grand perspective of things. You have to face the concept of death. What is that? Does it mean an ending? Does it mean a rebirth? It's tempering your spirit. It's pouring from the cup of fire to the cup of water, and vice versa. It's the alchemy of gold and silver. It's the yin and the yang. Temperance is the balancing of ethereal energies, and we apply it to ourselves in the tarot and to our living as a human. But the concept of temperance is a transcendental idea that is experienced by all of the universe. The devil is, of course, you can have it as in religion, but you can have it as symbolizing temptations, as symbolizing the darker nature, the darker side, the things that hidden. How do you describe a concept like devil? It's the underbelly. It's the side of you don't want to look at. Addictions, attachments. There you go. Attachments to earthly things. That's a very transcendental concept of being attached to the earthly when your nature is spiritual. You see that's kind of in the transcendental definition of the devil. And these are things you deal with after the 9. You become so mature spiritually that you are able to progress through these phases of evolution. The Tower, you're able to withstand sudden forces outside yourself, universal forces outside affecting the material. The Star, I mean, these get more and more esoteric the further the further we go up in up in the numbers, right? I mean, the Star is at the number 17, and the star it's a celestial object. These 3 are celestial objects: star, moon, sun. Celestial objects, esoteric in nature and transcendental in the description. The star is a symbol of hope, but why is the star a symbol of hope? It's something that's in the sky that we can't ever touch. How do we even know it really exists other than we can see it? And what does it mean? And it's always there, and it guides us, and we can navigate by it. And there's always something to reach for with the star that's always there. The moon is things that you can't see. It's things that you can't know. It's the unknowable. It's it's kind of there, but and it appears to be lit, but it isn't lit by its own light. It's lit from, it seems to glow from within, but using the light from another object, it's there and it's not there. Its light exists and it doesn't exist. It's the hidden realm. It's sort of this, I guess you could say intuition, but it's so much beyond intuition. It's this kind of a questioning of what actually is. The sun is just the ultimate source of all life as we know it, and it's the heat, and it makes possible for everything that we know that exists to exist. I mean, when you think about it beyond just being our heat that grows our crops, and you just think about it as a thing that can make life as we know it exist, the concept of that is just mind-boggling. And then we've got the concept of judgment, which is, do you have your affairs in order? According to who? What does that mean? What does it mean to live an existence that is worthy of, the cosmic forces finding you to be just, finding your motives to be just? What is justice? Not justice, judgment. Judgment is what is judged to be ultimately in harmony with all of creation, and the world is that all of creation. What is all of creation? These concepts, these transcendental concepts, ending with the world, and then can also be considered to be ending with the fool, because the fool is a zero. The zero is it's a nadir. It's not a 1, it's not a 22, it's a nothing. It can be the end, it can be the beginning. So the fool, by different people, is placed either at the beginning or at the end, because the fool is a rebirth. It's a new birth. So does the new birth come as a child of the ultimate, or does the birth come at the beginning before all, and spark the movement of all life as we know it? You see the words I'm using to describe what happens after completion is this whole other realm of the esoteric, of the transcendental. You are completing all that can be completed in the mundane world. This year, you master your worldly self and can aspire to progressing yourself in your evolution through these other concepts in years to come, or enveloping them into the next phase. This is the next phase of your evolution after you complete the 9. Now, I'll show you something really wonderful, because this is about geometry, not just about tarot and numerology. So we got 9 dots, because 9 is completion. The initiate has to work his way through this labyrinth after attaining a certain level of spiritual training and enlightenment. The labyrinth is a path that can be navigated once you know the way. Okay, so that's what this is. It's kind of a rebirth symbol. Am I getting this? I gotta get this right now. And I'm not going to talk while I draw this, because apparently that makes me mess up. So okay, so you've seen this before. I'm sorry I drew it so big, it makes it a little bit unrecognizable, but okay, there it is. And now, this is a worldwide concept of an initiate following through the labyrinth. There is a way that you pass through this whole labyrinth, and one thing to note is that each of these represents a note in a musical note. Okay, so as an initiate is following the trail of the labyrinth, imagine hitting a different note each time you pass one. I am not a professional musician, so I'm going to just kind of simulate this as we go through the labyrinth, and you can take it for what it is. All right, here we go. No, what did I get wrong already? Did I get that wrong? Okay, let's just go with it. No. Okay, so sorry, I started at the wrong place. Let's pretend that this little guy didn't go this way because I'm not an initiate. Okay, but we're going to pretend my little red pen here is an initiate. Okay, so here we go. Ready? No, start lower for me. Okay. Now, I obviously did something wrong. I should have started back here like this. That's where I should have started. Yep. So, anyway, I did the whole path except that I started a little too late. It was over here. Anyway, you saw that we got all the way out into the world, initiated, because we have attained the completion. Oh my. This is crazy. Did I know what happened here? Did I do this one? I wonder. Maybe we're supposed to start here. Yeah, that's it. We're supposed to start right here at the cross. Duh. Okay, yeah, duh. Sorry, now I'm just playing. This is for my benefit. Oh no, where'd it go? Where'd it go? We initiated. All right, thank you for indulging me in that. Yes, I know, highly entertaining. Okay, well, anyway, if you are in a 9 year, you are at a really beautiful place in life, because in this year you are becoming initiated as a person who can transcend. And you have the support of the universal number 4 around you that is like a warm blanket, making it even more comfy and stable for you to do this complicated act of becoming a whole person. So good on you, mate. If you've watched this far, please indulge me for just a few more seconds as I just show you some articles of art that I've been making. It's Huichol bead art. It's pressing tiny glass beads into beeswax and pine pitch in geometric fashion. Part of what attracted me to this form of art is that it's so geometric in nature. You start with the 1 at the center and then you build the design out from that. And the further away you get from the center, the more complex the design becomes, just like in the numerology we showed today. And I have prayer bowls and different items. One of the fun things that I've been making a lot of lately, and I actually sold a lot of them, but they're made to order in my Etsy shop right now, are these beautiful little animals, little animal fetishes, if you will, or just ornaments, or spirit animals, or totems, or just cute decorations or Christmas ornaments. However, all of them can stand on their own or be hung up. And right now they're made to order, but I will be making some pieces and just putting them, to buy off the shelf in days to come. However, there you go. And all these can be found at theancientsouthwest.com. There's a link to my Etsy shop there, or you can go directly to Etsy, etsy.com/shop/EyeOfGodArt. And if you get something out of these videos, if you enjoy it, a great way to support me in my efforts is to purchase a little something from my shop, because you don't just get the pleasure of watching a YouTube video for it. You actually get an item that you can hold and give to a friend or something like that for their birthday, whatever, you get something for it. So consider that if you're liking these videos. And other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. I have a lot of good solstice stuff coming up soon that I need to edit, and that'll be showing up pretty quick here on the channel. Have a great day. Happy New Year.